So I'm Arye. I'm in Half Moon Bay, California. Um, I am a practicing Jew. I was very fortunate to have two great rabbis as spiritual teachers who taught me something about how to hold the balance of, on one hand, really digging deep into my particular spiritual practice, and on the other hand, staying with the universal basics of all the, or most of the religions, of love yourself. I'm not love yourself, but love God, love your neighbor, um, love the stranger, love the world, and maybe love yourself a little bit too. So anyway, that's my check-in. Charles.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'll just call attention to what's behind me there, which is a wooden uh, representation of Kuan Yin, the Bodhisattva of infinite compassion. Uh, I feel these days compassion is perhaps the best thing I can cultivate. And further, right there, you see something orange? It is one of those wristbands that commemorates the daughter of a dear friend of mine who in her early 20s was out on a bike ride, and a young man who was 16 and texting swerved out of his lane and smashed into her and killed her instantly. I can't imagine surviving that as a parent, but Herm Weaver, her father, Chloe Weaver is the young woman. Herm and Chloe just released a CD entitled Chloe and Me, Because Love Never Dies. And the quick story behind that is that over a year after Chloe's death, Herm happened to find on his computer things that Chloe had recorded using GarageBand. And he worked over a period of some years with what she had recorded to make an album of the two of them together. It's, if you're interested, available on iTunes, and it has some just positively beautiful songs on it. And to know that it comes from a father and his daughter who is no longer physically present on this earth, but spiritually profoundly present.
Thank you, Charles. Charles got more than 30 seconds, but each of us gets 30 seconds, so we'll go around. Benita, I see you next. You need to unmute yourself.
I'm Benita Banducci. I'm here in Portola Valley in California today, and my work is all around the empowerment of women, although I can't say it now without saying that it's truly about bringing out the brilliance of women and the greatness of men. I have been so inspired by the UN Women Project to create the Planet 50/50 goal, that the only way we'll fulfill on the Sustainable Development Goals, which for me is really the world I want to live in, is Planet 50/50.
Thank you. Len.
Len Traubman, San Mateo, California, a 25-minute drive south of San Francisco. I'm an American Jew, a retired pediatric dentist, and presently preoccupied with how are we going to provide experiences for people to engage, and through face-to-face engagement have mystical experiences that allow them to realize that we're all one.
Thank you. Bob.
I'm Bob White here. I'm here in San Mateo. We've been lucky enough to know the Traubmans for the last 30 years and worked with them on programs. We live in Costa Mesa, which is in Southern California. Mm-hmm. I've been focused the last year with a lot of family issues. I had a brother who died, and there was a lot of trauma around that. And we're also caregivers for our two of our grandchildren. We have 5 and caregivers for 2. So it's all been about family this year, but it's all that. It was a fantastic learning process, and I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Bob. Wendy.
I'm Wendy, and I live upstairs from REA. So that actually is our wedding clipper behind us. So my spiritual path is besides being a Jewish renewal, has been about cycles and seasons and the holidays that are associated with the cycles and seasons. And I recently joined the Threshold Choir, which is a choir that goes to bedsides of people in times of transition. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Thank you, Wendy. Person I see next is Terry.
Oh, hello. I'm here again with Libby, who known for, I think, Bob, it's almost 40 years, if not more. And her children babysat our children when they were young. We're very grateful to them. And I've had a death in the family too. You talk about a bike ride. My older brother just died of a bike ride about 2 months ago. Had a crash and a heart attack. So I've been dealing with that and the issue of unconditional love and what that means and how you express it and how you demonstrate it in life.
Thank you, Terry. Glad you can be with us. Libby.
So Libby Trobman, and we're upstairs above Len and Bob in San Mateo. I was raised in a Presbyterian household and went to a Presbyterian college, but confessed to not being very enamored with the experience that I had in that particular church and faith, and then ended up marrying Len, who is Jewish. And so we've practiced together bringing and merging the best of not only Christianity and Judaism, but all the faiths. And we've tried to bring in as many of the high principles from the different religions into our house and when we raised our children. So that's sort of the hat that I wear faith-wise. And I am a spiritual believer. I try to walk the path, but it comes from many faiths.
Thank you, Libby. Susan.
Well, you already know that I'm pastor for one more day at First United Lutheran Church in San Francisco. I'm here. I live in Berkeley, and my interest has been in a theology. I'm Christian, obviously, but how to help Christians in congregations understand interfaith, interspiritual matters. So to develop a theology and a way of understanding our Christianity in light of other traditions. So that's hopefully in my next stage of the journey, we'll be able to continue that work.
Thank you, Susan. So glad you can join us.